Hello, everybody. How you doing? Tony here. Now's the moment you've been waiting for. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you to the brilliant and wonderful Ben Perkins. How you doing,
You're
Ben?
a charming man. How are you, sir?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you? It's been a while. It's been a long time, isn't it?
It has. It has. It seems like years. I thought you were trying to avoid me.
It must have been about at least, what, a minute?
Well, we were tweaking. I was backstage. Do you know? I have to say, that is one heck of a green room you've got there. The backstage service is incredible. I was just tucking into a bowl of truffles as the countdown came to the end. I was quite happy there, to be honest.
All right, you were nodding off, were you? I could. When are we going to start? When are we going to start?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've got This is unusual. Ordinarily, if people sit down for to be drawn by you. There's usually loads of them, for one thing, and you've just got one captive sitter.
Yeah, and you can't go anywhere.
I can't go anywhere. What time is yours?
You are captive.
But people sit for you. There might even be a queue of people who are waiting to come up and have their turn. People, sort of pitch in ideas and comments and suggestions and commentary as you're working. And of course, the people that you're drawing never get to see the finished result until the end as a final reveal, which is always massive, massive fun. It's not something that everybody does for, say, weddings or birthdays, that sort of stuff. But that's the sort of thing that you do most, I take it.
Yeah, that's right. That is the sort of majority of the work, and it's probably the area that I enjoy the most. I mean, yeah, exactly. And sometimes, very rarely, you get someone filming with a phone behind me, and then even showing them, and I try and pin them down, say, no, wait for the big reveal because it'll be worth it, like you say. Yeah. And it's very exciting, and like we are in a similar sort of area of entertainment in that respect, aren't we? And
well, this is it. This is what I thought. I thought actually we're both performers of a sort, and there's an awful lot that goes on behind the scenes that people don't see pre-performance. And this wasn't your first calling, though, was it? In what respect? Well, I mean, in terms of stuff you've done. I mean, I don't know. I mean, do we have time to talk about the lion taming? Your time as Cheltenham's only astronaut.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's
we have time. We have time.
Well,
no pressure.
Maybe we'll delve a little later. But I first met you at the wonderful Manor by the Lake.
Yeah.
Where they do weddings, parties, and all sorts of amazing, in fact, fantastic Christmas parties. I have no idea whether Christmas is going to happen this year. Who knows what COVID will let us do? But sorry, I said the C word. I promised myself I wouldn't. But anyway, wonderful place, the Manor by the Lake, and there you were, entertaining there, just sort of perched in a corner with an easel and lighting and a box of Sharpies and loads of paper and what have you. I just sort of, it always seemed as though it took maybe it took the first person or the first couple, because you do couples quite often, don't you? Isn't that
yeah, couples and yeah.
It took just one person to sort of break the ice with you, and then there was a little trickle of people. And sometimes people who'd been queuing for sort of 10 minutes or so thought, I'll come back in a bit, and went back to have a sit down because there's too many people waiting to be seen by you, to be done.
I try and draw them as quick as I can, and it is the fun of people watching as well. So the people in the queue are loving it, and having a good giggle at their expense. But I do remember, the first time we met, like you say, was at Manor by the Lake, and I just remember there's this one kind chap who always used to turn up, and from the very beginning when we met, with a glass of Coke, and there you go, in a big booming voice. There you go, sir. I can't do it. I'm nowhere near the lower tones. There you go, my kind sir. And this glass would appear from my right shoulder and next to me, and that was so welcome. And you know, ever since then, I've told so many people about you and you're performing, and just the way you keep people happy and entertaining with whatever you're doing. I mean, you mentioned the Christmas parties, the Russian theme one we did. Well, you did. Sorry, I came along and enjoyed it. On the
yes, no, I think it's been the policy of that place for many years, because it's a lot of the suppliers who end up working tagging along to weddings and things like that. I've worked at the manor for a long time, and we keep seeing it. Well, it's lovely seeing the same faces again and again and again. And yeah, I think they're in the habit of inviting a bunch of suppliers to Christmas parties just to sort of to socialize. Probably the only time of the year they get to. But yes, the Russian. Yes, yes. Every year at the manor has a theme. This year's, I was really looking forward to. It was a little bit before my time, but I love the music. It was disco, a disco Christmas.
So the white suit
with all the cheese, absolutely.
Not hopefully in the Ricky Gervais style, but his character in the office.
Exactly. Sort of Stephen Toast as Elvis, that kind of thing. But yeah, the Russian one, we've had various other things. The Russian one was, we had some amazing dancers with us. We were backed up, of course, by the fabulous Tommy and the Fuse.
Yes, Tommy.
Yes, party band.
And
I even learned a bit of Russian for that. At the time, we had a Russian guy on staff at the manor. Okay, he wasn't Russian. He was Ukrainian, and this proved to be a bit of a thing. Look, speaks fluent Russian, and I did double check that he wasn't teaching me filthy things to say. And I just sort of add a bit of verisimilitude, a bit of authenticity to. So I should explain what I was doing there. I was the host of these parties, so I was dressed head to foot as a Cossack kind of thing, with this sort of beardy kind of thing.
I tell you, you've kept it ever since then. From that, yes. Suit you, sir. Suit you, sir.
It was my lockdown beard. It's having a good old trim at some stage.
I've got lockdown hair at the moment, so I'm trying.
I've just brushed it away. Yeah.
I've brushed mine away as well.
Completely. There was a table of people who everyone said, it's fantastic. These people have been talking amongst themselves, and apparently they're a little bit confused because they've been hearing some actual genuine Russian. They don't really know what's going on. They knew it was Russian themed, but they don't know whether you or the dancers really are Russian. I mean, what's going on? So of course, feeling very pleased with myself, I sort of saunter over to this table in character, on some pretext or whatever. I don't know, topping them up with wine or water or something like that.
Vodka.
And I pick one of them and deliver what I think is one of my best rehearsed Russian phrases. Trot it all out, and the look I got was not the look I was expecting. I was expecting I don't know, some Russian to come back, maybe some at least maybe a smile or of recognition. Is right, you're clearly not Russian, but you're trying, and we appreciate it. No, none of that. She glowered at me or said something terrible. So I went back to the kitchen where this guy, this Ukrainian guy who'd been coaching me, was, and I said, yeah, that Russian lot out there, I don't know. And I've double checked all of the stuff that you taught me, Arthur, but did not go down well. And he said, it wouldn't. They're Ukrainian.
Oh.
There's no love lost between the Russians and the Ukrainians.
No.
And yeah, sometimes things fall flat, but this is the chance you take.
Well, such is life, Anyway, we have a comment, not a comment, or a question actually, from a viewer, our viewer, the viewer. Right, okay, I'll put this on, see if it works, because this is all new to us, and let's see what you think. Aha.
This is right.
You might possibly know this.
What an extraordinary coincidence that he happens to have the same surname as I do.
Yes. Yes, that's amazing.
Здравствуйте, моя маленький друг, is the only Russian that comes to mind at the moment. Oh,
okay.
Right. So that was, hello there, my little friend. And then in response to your thanks, I thanked you as well.
Fantastic. I thought for a minute we were going to get banned from Facebook, but we're okay there.
We will if any Russians are actually watching. So, yeah.
Yep. Thank you, Guy, for that. Yeah, brilliant. Okay, so, yeah, I say I'm not. I haven't got an autocue or anything. I'm just trying to work on my neck exercises, because when you're drawing a lot, you do get strange neck problems. So, anyway, what's the secret to remembering the lines from a script for a theatre production or TV show? Plus, do you have any tips for anyone who's having difficulty with this? Because this fascinates me as well. It's how you do it, because my memory's terrible.
It is. There's no art to it. It is familiarity. There's no way of cheating it. There's no way of fudging it. If you have the kind of say you're performing in the evening, or you've got a week to learn a script for something, you can spend your daytimes listening to recordings of the script as well as reading it, assuming it is written down for you, of course. It's not easy. The only thing that I have found that works definitely for me is to learn not just my lines, but and not just the cues. In other words, the lines that come directly before what I have to say, and any sort of stage directions or movement cues, that kind of thing. I have to learn the entire thing, and I do it by.
That's impressive.
Well, I do it by record. Yeah, it doesn't stay in the brain for very long. It's terrible.
Right.
It stays in there for as long as it needs to, and then it's gone. But bizarre. I mean, it must get buried rather than go completely, because there have been times when entire passages from scripts or plays and things have just come back to me, and I've no idea where from, because I can't remember any of the rest.
So is it like music then? Music's a bit like that. When you're listening to a track or something, or an album, it's just like muscle memory in the brain for
exactly so
for the ear, as it were. Yeah,
exactly so. I mean, if you have movements to anchor it to, if you're doing anything with music involved, there's obviously the music to help you. You can actually assist your learning by doing it to music. And I know this sounds really weird, but I have done this from time to time. I don't just record the script as a voice recording and listen to that. I record it with music backing it. This is because the music seems to help the words to get into my head.
Right.
Obviously, it helps if it's instrumental music. You don't get distracted.
Yes. Yeah. I do find that myself when especially when I've got a big commission that I do at home. I do them from photographs on the drawing board back there, and I've got photographs, and I've got sometimes essays of the background on the person. So when I'm working, I have to have music, a little bit like you, I should. And for that, for deciphering the essay of information, I just put instrumental music on. But when I'm working on the actual final product, I'll have anything going. But I have to have music to inspire you. Just it's part of the creative thing, isn't it? You know, it's all part and parcel, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's got, there's got to be music gently in the background, either that or complete and total silence.
Yes,
and I mean so silent it's like a tomb. You can't hear anything else. Because you can never get, because you can never get that. Most of the time. Yeah,
that's right. Right, we've got a couple more questions here actually.
Oh,
so I'll pop the top one on. Another one for you, Ben. Here we go.
What are the chances? What are the chances? This is extraordinary.
Yeah, that was probably the next on the list, wasn't it?
It was sometimes the hardest roles to tackle. It depend on if you're performing for a live audience. It's usually hardest when you're performing in front of people you know. And I don't think that just applies to me. I think pretty much everybody who performs in any kind of capacity feels the same in that regard. When there's loads to play for, when the stakes are really, really high, that's when the excitement levels are correspondingly just fizzing along. And it is absolutely electric. It's fantastic. I'm slightly embarrassed to say that it doesn't really matter how large the stage anymore, or how large the audience. Once they get beyond a certain kind of critical size, it could be 100 people or 1,000 people.
Do you start losing the rows that go back then? Especially, well, you've got your glasses on now, but it's they kind of disappear, and it is like, you know, entertaining, or, you know, doing your bit to just a few rows, so it's more friendly and.
Well, yeah, I mean, it does get easier to sort of treat the audience as a collection of people.
Yeah.
But if you're performing in front of your immediate family, and if it's a role you have to play, but it's not. I was toastmaster at my brother's wedding, and that was the most nervous I have ever felt at the prospect of being in front of people.
Well, you know, you can read their expressions as well. You know exactly what they're thinking if they're.
Oh, they know me.
Your friends, can't you? So.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that everybody who delivered a speech that day felt exactly the same kind of nerves. Yeah. So all of this experience, all of this sort of acting experience and everything else, all of the training, all that sort of stuff went right out of the window. Yeah. It was, my instincts were, oh goodness gracious, this is so important. I really must get this right. This must be the best that I can do. And it was, yeah.
The adrenaline is a good help as well, isn't it? The adrenaline to get.
I mean, it was the most perfect day for all sorts of reasons.
But it's a shame we didn't have the cue for the song there. Brilliant. Thank you, Ben. That's really good. Right, we've got another one here from Mandy. Actually, thank you, Merlin. Is it Marlin? Marlin? Yeah, Marlin.
It means naughty man in French, but it's in Sweden. In Sweden, it's a lady's name.
Right, we've got another one here from Mandy, and this was actually on the list. Amazing. There must be a psychic connection here going. I know Mandy very well. She's brilliant. She's had a couple of commissions done from me. I think she's won a prize as well of a caricature. Yeah, she's asking. I'll put it on actually. Thank you, Mandy.
Ooh, very good.
Mm.
Very good.
Yeah. Do you want to go with this one, or shall I go first? Or
You go first.
Yeah, it's well, one of the things is how we going to do? Yeah, I mean, I think exactly when all the weddings just stopped in March, I thought, oh crikey, what we're going to do? Of course, and then there was a scare of the stores closing and supplies. Everybody had to get their loo rolls and food. So we love garden anyway. So we went and we just ploughed the garden up, ploughed all the grass. Well, all of it, exaggerated a bit. So we grew a few bits of veg and stuff, and I've got a little thing here, a little surprise. So this is one of the things that we grew. It's an alien mothership, as you could probably recognize.
Oh my goodness, what was it you were saying?
And yeah, we had a big discussion about this, Ben, the other. Actually, I'll keep it there. That's much better, isn't it? So yeah, this is a gift for you, my dear man. I will get it to you somehow. I have these Toblerone Toblerone tubes that I post on my work in. A lot of the commissions are rolled up ones. We'll say goodbye. The corn from above.
Oh, bye corn.
Bye corn. And yes, so that is one of the very things we were talking about, Ben, the other day. I hope you liked it from what you saw. They taste horrible, by the way. Oh. Yeah, so that's basically what we've been doing. Just vegging out.
Vegging out.
Vegging out. Yeah. Very so what about you, sir?
Well, in the ordinary course of things, you know, like you, I would be working at weddings, events, parties, all that sort of stuff, as well as all of the acting, the voice work, the singing, the various bits of performance stuff that I do. And I've been away from that for months. People have rescheduled all this sort of stuff. You know, it's you know, the world is gradually adapting, but it's left me with an awful lot of time on my hands, and because of the sort of restrictions on how far people can work at their old jobs. It's meant finding things to occupy my time with here, and there's just so much. It's really dull. I warn you now, really, like, seriously dull. But there have been a couple of very exciting projects that I have got my teeth stuck into. Quite near the beginning of lockdown, I was contacted by my amazing pal, Barnaby Eaton-Jones, from the Offstage Theatre Group, amongst other things. He's an absolute, he's a sort of a theatrical and audio production Svengali. As well as a writer, a performer himself. And we had a tour with loads of guest stars, including the amazing and much missed and much loved Tim Brooke-Taylor. We were going to be touring with. All of those shows, of course, stopped. So Barney, like the rest of us, had to kind of rejig his plans. And one of the things he did was to set about putting a cast together to do some audio drama. This was going to be a challenge because we obviously couldn't get to a studio and work together the way we usually would. And I was one of the few people that had their own studio set up and ready to go. But now, of course, with lockdown, there have been actors, singers, you know, people with all sorts of backgrounds who haven't been able to go to studios, to theaters, etc., and loads of them have had to develop some kind of recording capacity from home. So that's what all of the cast did, and we recorded an Audible original version of 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
Jules Verne, yeah,
Did
fantastic.
it all from our home studios, which is,
Wow.
in some people's cases, is literally a cupboard, with blankets and all that sort of stuff. And then it was magicked into existence by Joseph Fox. His sister Abigail scored some stunning music to go with it. And we managed to bag some incredible acting talent to sort of turn the cast from just sort of characters on paper into living, breathing people.
Yeah.
That's something I'm pretty proud of. It's not every day you can say you worked with the likes of Terry Malloy and Adrian Lester and Clive Mantle, and just loads of people. Ordinarily.
Fantastic. So with that type of work then, how does it differ? Because are you usually together with it anyway, or when you record it? I always thought perhaps you were. So you are all together. Yeah, usually.
It's for a number of reasons, because there are certain types of scene where you
got to interact.
Yeah, you need to interact. You need to bounce off other people.
I'm just wondering how that works now. So it's the editing; they fade it together, do they somehow? The technical side, or
they take. I mean, there's an awful lot that gets done by a very, very clever editor. I'll mention his name again, Joseph Fox, was an absolute genius with the editing. But he went to Barnaby first. He effectively kind of listened to the sort of the raw material and kind of proofed it and sent back any suggestions, sent back any requests for rereads, that sort of stuff. And then it all went to our amazing editor to be put together. But I mean, there were a couple of the cast, a husband and wife, Carla Mendonça and Clive Mantle, obviously worked together from home. But at least one cast member didn't really have anybody else to bounce off at all. He was narrating the thing, and I think he's done a stunning job. But this is what we've had to get used to.
Yeah.
It's been difficult to get properly bored, and I do feel very sorry for people who've had their lives completely turned upside down. It's been easier for some of us to adapt than for others. I hugely miss getting in front of people, mingling with people, as I'm sure we all do. It's been great to be able to spend a lot of time in the studio, do a lot of work that I've put off for a long, long time. We've all got projects like that, things that we've put off doing.
But it is, you do need that personal human interaction, don't you? You can't just do it with machines. You've got to. That's what makes us different from machines. So brilliant. Thank you, Ben. That's great. Okay, let's go to the next question. They're coming in thick and fast, Ben. Okay.
Thick's about my level, so
Oh, well, for me, how do you start your characters? Have you ever got trouble with certain picture? I'm flattering feature. Yeah, well, usually I put a caricature of myself up behind me, so that puts me in good stead, really, because I know if I'm cruel to myself. Oh, brilliant!
It's a Marriott original, that one.
Yeah. Usually a wedding or a gig, I put a few little samples up. So with every caricature artist, like all artists, there's different degrees of how far they go. So with the bride and groom, especially with the bride, I tend to hold back quite a bit, and so it's almost portrait-like, but a bit more cartoony, because we all need to be paid at the end of the day, don't we, Ben? So what they really want me to go, you can usually it's the sort of the psychology of it. You can usually chat to them, get to know them, and even through an email sometimes you can see or you can read and get a feeling for how far you can go. But usually when people at weddings, they've usually seen caricaturists before, and and what's different with me is I don't walk around with a clipboard and pounce on people. So I have a queue here sign, so people come to me if they want one done.
So they know what they're letting themselves in for.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And usually when the champagne's flying, you can start, you know, my ego thinks, oh, it's all about me, you know, I can draw whatever I want. But no, I don't usually do it. If I had a bit to drink, and usually the guys are up for it, and you tend to exaggerate a bit more, so it's good fun. But yeah, thank you, Guy. That's right. Have you ever got in trouble because the unflattering feature? Like it was once there was once a lady who sat down, and she, in the days of the duck face pose, this lady was doing this a lot. So she, yeah. So I did it, but I didn't go too overboard. And she just looked at it and went, nah. And threw it. So, but it was entertaining for me, so that's all that matters.
And of course for everybody else. I mean, the part of the answer to that question is that by virtue of the way that your setup works, there's nearly always somebody else watching, not as well as the sitter. So people can't really throw their toys out of the pram at you. People can't really fly off the handle.
No, and it's entertaining for them as well. Of course, you know, they're probably nudging. Oh, look at that! You know, look at what he's done. But no, it's good fun. It's good fun.
I suppose. I mean, maybe a sort of a little addition to that question might be: has anybody asked you, or maybe do you get asked very often to really go to town on somebody's unflattering feature?
Well, yeah, you do have to be a bit careful, especially if they're not involved in the discussions. Yeah, because you don't know. You really have to get them sitting down and then get chatting to them first and tease it out of them. You know, it's all part of the fun. It's what you learn over the years. You know, it's just you have to tread carefully sometimes. But and sometimes there's a couple sitting there and one of them's been enticed up. Don't really want to be there, but the other person is loving it. So you'll back up a bit and play it careful on the shy ones. But
it all happens at weddings, though. I mean, you know, emotions run very high, as you've already, you know, alluded.
But at the end of the day, it's all about fun, isn't it? You know, and it is.
Well, it should be.
And people, you know, yourself, Ben. You see so many lovely things there, and people are there for the greatest day of their lives, and it tugs at your heartstrings as well, doesn't it? It
does. It does, of course.
You come away from the evening, and you've got these memories, and you think, "Wow, that was a good one," you know.
Well, it's one of the perks of the job. It really truly is, because I mean, we have a lovely couple who gravitate back to England at least once a year to see his family, and she's you know, proper Florida girl, you know, your archetypal American blonde. They're such a sweet couple, but they always make time to come back to the manor and then take a photograph of themselves in front of the place they got married, and try and come in and sort of have a chat to whoever's around. It does, it's a pretty special place. But we, weddings really bring it out. Because it's emotions run high, and certainly if the alcohol's flowing as well. Yes, you see some lovely things. You see some examples of really unfortunate behavior as well.
Interesting things, yeah. But that's few and far between, isn't it?
Very.
Hopefully, it is with you. It is with me, but that's usually the caricatures who's upset them really, and your fists are flying.
You've not had to dash up into the night with your easel under your arm and people facing up.
Start the car.
Yes, exactly.
Got one from Carolyn. I'm not. Thanks, Guy, again. Yeah, let's show Carolyn's. Carolyn's a good buddy of mine. Really enjoying chat. The answer to the question from Ben: yes. Do you know what she's talking about here?
Good question.
Do you know Carolyn? That's the thing.
Not yet, but I have a feeling I'm going to have to send her a message asking her what she's on about. Now I need to know.
Carolyn is a brilliant artist, by the way. She's hopefully we're going to get on here one day as well. It's, she does fantastic work, and a brass instrument player of all persuasions, saxophone, trombone. I think yes, she does saxophone, trombone, and the horn. I think. I'm not very good with the types, so bear with me, Carolyn. I apologise.
That is wow.
Yeah, she's multi-talented, incredible genius. She is. Known her for years. She's a good friend. And worked with her actually. Worked with her before the caricature days. So great. So yeah, we'll have to find out what that is. Okay. Oh, there's a nice little comment from probably a friend of yours. That's
silky, lovely. Hugs right back.
Brilliant. Okay. Yeah, we've gone over the half an hour a little bit.
Dun dun dun.
Sorry, Carolyn's come back. If you're happy to carry on for a little bit, Ben, is that all right? I did say that, but we're having a good time here. So, Carolyn says, I do confuse people. I meant to say you have drawn me a few times. Well, that's my friend Carolyn. Yes, I've drawn her a few times. So. She's always there. She's always there when I'm drawing. She's great support. Okay, so what have we got now then? Okay, yeah. Oh, this is a question from me actually. Just stretching my neck again. Your most it must be hard. This is always, I hear this question a lot from people, and I've got one person, but it's probably hard for you because you probably meet a lot more famous people than I do. The most memorable meeting you've had with a famous person that really, ingrained itself. But is there one sort of perhaps a funny moment or something? Or
oh dear.
It's a hard one, isn't it?
It is.
You must have sort of heroes from
many years ago when I was a very small lad, and I was absolutely potty about secret agents, James Bond, that kind of thing. I was fortunate enough to visit the set of the Bond film Never Say Never Again, I was in the presence of the majestical figure of the now 90-year-old Sir Sean Connery. I didn't get to meet him. I wish I had, but I was a scrap of a boy. But there was an absolutely magnetic presence around the guy. He was.
Happy birthday, Sean! He's just turned 90, hasn't he?
Yeah. Quite extraordinary. No, one.
He always tunes in to watch these. So.
Hey, Sean, if you're watching, yes, happy birthday, sir. One or two particular highlights. Yeah, I got chicken pox when I was a kid, and had a miserable weekend, lying at home, covered with horrible chicken pox, sort of scabs and stuff, and sort of scratching and itching and feeling properly sorry for myself. And the only thing that cheered me up was on Saturday morning, along with all the other kids' TV that they were showing, was an episode of a program called The Saturday Banana by the Goodies. Graham Garden, Bill Oddie, and Tim Brooke Taylor. And years and years and years later, because I loved their silliness, I loved their irreverence, I loved their energy, I loved the way they bounced off each other, and it was lovely, clean, innocent, silly fun. Absolutely adored it, always have. And I got to share a stage with them at the Bristol Slapstick Festival, which was an absolute pinch me moment for me. It was the first time that all three of them had been on stage together for years and years and years.
Wow. So what year were we talking about here?
This was this year just gone, 2019.
Oh, right. Okay, fantastic. Oh,
yeah, it was an amazing time. Yeah, proper pinch me moment. Such a lovely man, still so funny. The fact that my friend Barnaby even managed to get he did all the work on this. He managed to get Tim so enthused by what we were doing, which I should make clear was we took the old "I'm sorry, I'll read that again" sketches and adapted them and wrote some new stuff. Again, credit to Barnaby for all of that, and put them with the guys' permission, with the goodies' permission, in front of a live audience. The Bristol Slapstick Festival decided this would be a lovely thing to have, and it was the festival finale. So at the end of a fantastic weekend down in Bristol with all sorts of hilarious comedy from all sorts of people, they had these three old titans of British comedy, and us, and we were there. It was great, absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, amazing. I still remember the goodies with the cat, the huge cat, and the BBC, the post office tower, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I think it was. Yeah.
Well, I mean, there were people at the sci-fi ball that we ended up having as one of our tour dates. And again, Tim cameoed with us. He guest starred with us on stage at the sci-fi ball, and also spent some time there as a sort of as a guest of the sci-fi ball, having some a question and answer session. And there were people. There's so much love for what those guys did out there. There were people dressed in massive flat caps with great big pretend black puddings, and I mean, I kid you not.
Yeah.
Even now. So it was amazing.
Brilliant. I mean, that's class, isn't it? You remember that from so long ago, and brilliant. That's funny, actually. So going back to the Bond thing, very bizarre how that linked into. The next question was, Well, I think you answered the question. Your favourite Bond, and you've done an impersonation. I was going to ask you to do an impersonation, but you've done a fairly good one there. That's I'm assuming Sean is your favourite Bond. Yeah, still.
Oh, come on! I mean, he got first bite of the cherry where the Bond films are concerned, didn't he? He got some of the best lines, some of the best gadgets, some of the best stories, and definitely some of the best films.
Yeah.
Maybe he should have left it and not done Never Say Never Again. I think the title of that Bond movie was a bit of a it sort of harked back to in a sort of ironic way to him saying, "I'll never do Bond again."
Yeah, but it did have some good moments in it, didn't it? It was some fun moments with the. I think I remember the beaker scene, but we won't go into that. Exploding milk and all that sort of stuff. I mean,
it had some very good baddies in it, and you've got to have some good baddies. But I mean, some of the other Bonds, I feel so. Tim Dalton had terrible Bond films. He was a great Bond.
Yeah, I thought he was brilliant. Yeah, it's a shame he didn't go on further with it. In a few more films, but I think he could have. Yeah, he could have become a brilliant Bond, but he was good. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. My opinion. Anyway, so,
I think the one who's the sort of he had a couple of turkeys in terms of films to work with, but I think Pierce Brosnan was fantastic. It sounds like I'm really hedging my bets here. Sean was the first. Roger Moore had some silly films, some daft films, but brought an entirely new flavour to it. You can't really compare Connery and Moore.
No.
They are giving it an entirely different take.
Yeah. But you do. I think I can see. There's a lot of homages to certain actors. I mean, one of your recent which we'll mention a bit later on with the Roger Moore. I think there was a bit of a there we go. It's sort of into it there.
Every now and then. Yes, it's I can only do the one.
And you have a similar sort of tonal range as well, haven't you? But anyway,
how can you not? He was so cool. He was so cool. Absolutely smooth. There's an amazing.
I get an impression out of here, but it's not going, is it? It's not getting there.
Well, it's not something I practice, so I wouldn't presume to try. I'll work on that and come back to you. But
okay. Very good.
There's a story about Roger Moore. Years after he'd done his last Bond film, he was recognised in an airport by a young fan who sort of egged on by his by his dad, who he was with. And he said, "Go on, James Bond over there. It's James Bond." Went up to get an autograph, and Roger Moore said, at first denied that he was James Bond. He said, "No, of course not. Of course I'm not. Of course I'm not." The little boy went away slightly confused. Before he went off and moved from, because they're all at the same sort of departure gate, presumably, before he moved off to take his seat, Roger Moore comes up to this little boy and says, and whispers in his ear, "Of course I am James Bond, really, but I couldn't say so out loud."
Exactly.
Because Blofeld's got his spies everywhere. And the reason he said this was because when the little boy asked for an autograph, of course, Roger Moore signed it with his name. So that, the little boy goes back to his father and, slightly confused, saying, I don't understand. Who's this Roger Moore? So Roger Moore knew what had gone wrong, what had sort of got confused. Didn't want to break the magic, didn't want to break the spell. And I just think that's fantastic. That's
brilliant.
Class.
It's a cover. That's it.
Really clever.
Yeah. Anyway, that was a pretty good impression, but I can do the most recent Bond. I can do an impression.
Oh, excellent.
I'm willing to take bookings, signings, anything. If you know any agents, just let me know. But I do need one of these things. I need a couple of props. It's okay. I'll show you. See if you can guess who it is. Okay, you ready for this? All the ladies are going to start throwing themselves at me now. It's the ears. No?
Oh, man.
No, it's not Gollum. It's the Daniel Craig ears.
It is.
I probably didn't need to explain, but
no, wouldn't have needed the mask or anything.
No, I brought it up to date, So
he does this funny kind of crinkly thing, this sort of pouty thing with his lips.
Yeah. I have done a caricature. I drew him years ago, not live, not at a city, not at a wedding or anything. And it took me 3 goes to get that pout. It's very hard to do. Very hard to get that.
It's slightly crinkly and wrinkly. It doesn't quite work.
Let's see you have a go.
But it's
anyway. Moving on. Okay. So obviously with your wealth of talent there, Ben, perhaps we should bring it into this one of these latest. I think it's one of the latest. Correct me if I'm wrong. This 80s sort of hero sci-fi blockbuster that you've perhaps you could explain about this, because it sounds like a great project.
Well, I've got kind of a plot of my own. You may not remember, because this was a long time ago. You've drawn me before, as you know.
Really?
When I was slimmer, pre-lockdown, slimmer and slinkier.
Oh dear.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a Marriott original.
Yeah. Oh dear. I apologise now.
I must have been sucking in my cheeks at the time, but
That's only had
there is a
Oh, sorry, it's a family show.
there is another character that I have been lucky enough to be asked to flesh out in every sense. Because, yeah. Imagine, if you will, a land where there's an 80s sci-fi TV hero. Still with me? Yeah. So he's an action star. He's an action hero.
I know
on
it's coming.
TV. He's not real. Okay. But anyway, in the 1980s, there's a young man whose job is to write the stories for this character, and he'd far rather be writing something much more highbrow. But this is what makes him money. This is what earns the bucks. He's stuck in this job. He absolutely hates putting his name to it. He thinks it's all very embarrassing because this character, this action hero, on TV is everything that is cheesy and dire and embarrassingly awful about 1980s action and sci-fi. Think of I don't know, Battlestar Galactica meets Knight Rider. Pretty
good actually.
Actually, it sounds quite cool. It sounds good, doesn't it? But yeah. Anyway, not to give too much away, but aliens invade Earth on a mission to take it over. Some baddies arrive. And again, not to give too much away, but the TV character kind of ends up saving the day in a way that I would probably spoil it for you if I... Anyway, this started out as we had an idea for doing a musical of this. We thought it would be fun. 80s music, terrible, cheesy dad jokes, loads of 80s dance moves, 80s costumes, 80s catchphrases, all this sort of stuff, combined with our favorite action type shtick from the 80s. So we did the script's been written, and we've done a little test performance of a couple of scenes, and we even did a little promo video of it. And I can't really say anything more about. I mean, the hope was to build it into a world-beating musical, to take over the world with. Move over Lloyd Webber. We've got Ace Cannon. Well, we did this little TV featurette thing, this promo thing. Things have moved on, and I can't really say anything more than that now. It's extremely exciting for those of us involved. It really, really stupidly exciting.
Sorry, I missed a bit of that, Ben. Sorry, I think my internet went down a little bit. Did you see? Yeah.
Yes. You blacked out for a bit, but then I am going on a bit.
That's me.
So yeah.
No.
We've
hopefully the viewer heard everything you said. So brilliant.
Well, that was what he looked like. And actually, I look.
It's got the lockdown beard. Yeah.
Not dissimilar. I've got pretty much just the same sort of beard. It's all kind of there.
Uncanny.
It's revolting.
It's uncannily.
It is uncannily.
I'm wasted.
So yes, there's been movement on that wonderful Ace Cannon thing. It's this movement has started during the lockdown process. The project is moving on, not in the direction we'd initially thought, but this sounds even more exciting. So
big. This it's
I've got an example of of what I'm banging on about. Actually,
You're in for a treat now, guys. Here we go.
Now, if this works, this should be.
This could be a great launch pad.
So let's hope that everything is queued up.
Needs some intro, yeah. Well.
Hold on.
It's arriving. Here we go. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. That's hysterical.
The names in it, though.
Superb.
Isn't that music fantastic?
That is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
That music, it's in fact all the music, the songs and everything involved, it's all the brainchild of Philip Pope. He of Spitting Image and Radioactive fame. The songs are so funny, so catchy, and ridiculously 80s. That was a little sort of test promo video we did in Bristol with the amazing Paul Ludbridge of Hanover Pictures.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So we're gonna be seeing more of this, hopefully.
It's terrible. I can't say what we're going to be doing, but we're doing something to do with the thing you just saw. Yes, Gene Powers and Dr. Dacta, and they're coming back, as is Ace Cannon.
Fantastic. Absolutely brilliant, Ben. Brilliant.
It is.
And we can't hear the clapping and the roars of the crowd on this thing, but I'm sure they're out there. I love that. I can't stop watching it. It's so funny. But brilliant. Okay, right. I think thanks again for that. I think it's time now to do to give you a third one for your collection, if you're up for it.
It's such a privilege. It really, really is. Well, this is. I love the idea of you're doing this for and with other people with from the sort of kind of creative community that you know as well. I mean, there's loads of them in and around Gloucestershire, and of course, in internet land, there's hundreds of people potentially that could do this. Not all of them, of course, will rattle on for an hour, but then you did pick me this, so
been a pleasure, Ben. I
It's the time it's taken. Sorry.
never get tired of our chats together. Brilliant. Right. So what I'll do now, I was just wondering if I could leave you to chat to the viewer about anything, any things you're involved with, just while I just for a couple of seconds just set this up. Sorry to put you on the spot, but it won't take long. So I just remove myself from the screen. I'll be back in a second. Thank you, Ben.
We all know what he's really gone to do, ladies and gentlemen. This is the bit where I can make my bid to take over the world, starting with this little patch of the internet. He's an extraordinarily kind man, as well as a talented chap, Mr. Tony Marriott. The idea for doing this today, bizarre as it seems, sprang out of Tony's suggestion that we could possibly end up raising some money for a deserving local charity by showing people that it's possible to get caricatures drawn effectively via a sort of Zoom meeting like this. Now, ordinarily, if he's doing caricatures remotely for people, because he does get commissions all the time, he asks people to send in pictures, that sort of thing, and then he can send the finished article back. But doing things like this, it's the nearest thing to doing an actual live caricature. It's almost the ultimate in socially distanced caricature drawing. So you get all of the fun. He's even got a setup which will allow you to watch your drawing being done as you speak, if you'd like to. So certain people who are viewing can see the drawing that he's actually in the middle of, and it's exactly as it would be if you were standing right next to him at somebody's wedding or party, that kind of thing. So we had this idea that we could get people. Here he is with his empty easel. Now,
with my empty easel, yeah, but hopefully it'll be filled fairly soon. So. Thank you for that lovely intro, Ben. That was very kind. But yeah,
I just
anything to help. That's the thing.
It seems like a fantastic, thing to do to introduce people to having this done for them. Ordinarily, you have to be at one of the events. You have to have been invited to somebody's wedding, to somebody's birthday, or just happen to bump into somewhere where Tony is working, because there's not many people around that do this, and there's certainly not many people around that do it half as well as this Tony Marriott chap.
So get your everywhere.
We thought that if we had a stab at doing this as we've done today on Facebook, we can do it again. We can do it with people who, people from all walks of life. And in return for donations to a charity, we could have everybody getting this done. Obviously, the chat might be a little quicker, but it would be a great deal of fun.
No, it'd be fantastic.
Something we could do on an ongoing basis.
Looking forward to it, Ben. Thank you for that. Right, Ben, if I could get you just to look to your right a little bit.
To my right.
Just a little bit more. That's perhaps a little bit more.
To my right.
I'll get your profile. Right, I'm just going to...
Profile. Glasses on.
I'm going to make you go full screen, hopefully. And then I'll start my drawing, and then we'll flick back now and again, because I don't really want to let you see it. So, and I need to have you full screen to see the fantastic profile and chiseled looks. Here we go.
Chiseled? Out of blancmange, maybe. Yes.
Wrong one.
I think if there's a lot of that profile now. An awful lot. Look at that. And you can't see it underneath all this beard, but there's one of these odd Kirk Douglas style chins underneath it. And the beard is meant to be staying for quite a while. It was a lockdown experiment that has been allowed to carry on for too long. I don't know whether I have to hold on to it or whether I can trim it back down to nothing again. But all feedback, of course, very gratefully received. I've had plenty of feedback from the likes of my mother, who wants the entire thing shaved off. But other people are happy that it covers all of the extra lockdown chins that I've developed. What you can actually hear at the moment is the sound of an artist at work. And ordinarily, I can hear the sound of a Sharpie dancing across the paper. And I can see what he's doing. I can see that he's doing something. But actually, having removed himself from the screen, or at least from my view, he could have gone off to make a cup of tea and just left me here, which would be very funny. I don't know how still I have to be and how long for. But thank you all very much for tuning in. Thank you for your questions. Guy and Marlin, Silky, Carolyn, thank you so much. Mandy, of course. Yes, Carolyn, fascinating character you sound. A multi-instrumental brass virtuoso, as well as an artist. How do you fit all that into the course of the day?
You're doing wonderfully well.
I mean, I suppose multiple brass instruments, that I can sort of understand, because they all use the same the same basic technique, the same mouth and lip technique. But there's a couple of yards difference between a trumpet and a trombone.
Okay. This is all a learning curve, because obviously this is a new format. So you have to bear with
There
me.
you go, ladies and gentlemen. Excuses. He's been
going quick.
No, it is fantastic fun. Not really knowing how a drawing of yourself is going to turn out, because we all have this impression of how we feel we come across, but seen from somebody else's eyes, it's fascinating. It really is, just to see what they bring out. It's quite surprising how much will come out of a quick exchange of emails or a couple of photos. You can read a fair bit, but just consider, if you will, that while Tony knows me pretty well, in the ordinary course of things, in the course of a sort of 5-minute portraiture session, because it never really takes more than that, he's just got moments to take an impression of people, and then they go away with it
to in their hands.
Yeah. I've never seen that. I've only ever seen people laughing and thoroughly enjoying it, and there's always this sort of this. With some people, it's a sort of, shrug of the shoulders and raised eyebrows and go, "Oh God, yeah, I do look like that. Fair play." And
this
other people,
I can never be a salesman or an artist.
Oh, it's lovely.
We're getting there gradually.
I think you said to me when you did you did some sessions like this a while back in aid of the Gloucestershire Royal Hospital.
Yeah, that was for the Cheltenham and the Gloucester Hospital. Yeah, that was a fun day. That was a long day, but entirely worth it. We did how much did we raise? £450 for the charity, and it was 450 quid to the charity. All thanks to the viewers and the contributors. all through Just Giving. So that was a brilliant day.
So that was that was just donations, was it? That was people.
It was, yeah. It was sort of suggested donation per caricature, and some people even put more in than that. So it was very kind of them.
Oh, lovely!
It was a great day, yeah.
So how long did the day last?
It was from about 8 or 9 in the morning, and I think about 9 or 10 in the evening. So it was fantastic. Yeah, just
wow.
Well worth it.
So you took breaks for lunch. You took, what do we call them, comfort breaks? Did you?
I had a quick few minutes. Yeah, I've just realised I've forgotten a little bit my magic ingredient. I won't be long.
Oh no! What's the magic ingredient? I really want to know what the magic ingredient is.
It's a pair of my mother-in-law's knickers. I need to.
Oh no!
I need to use them to apply the pastel. So the thing is, with my mother-in-law, I used to use my wife's knickers for this. Some people have heard this before. I cut the knickers up and use them as a cloth to just get the pastels on there. But I was finding my wife's knickers weren't lasting very long. So whereas my wife's would last a couple of weeks, my mother-in-law's would last the whole year. So
oh, you must be on very good terms with your mother-in-law.
I am. I have the internet, which is a bonus.
Oh, that's lucky. That's lucky. So I mean, these must be good, sturdy M&S kind of.
They are. They're very.
Yeah.
I don't really want to go into too much detail, but yeah, they're
sensible pants.
You need wire cutters and a blowtorch to get them apart. I do apologise, viewers. We are from the 70s. The Carry On.
Oh dear.
The Merlin and Manning era.
We are edging closer to the watershed, but I think we're nudging a little close to the level. It
was nice knowing you. And probably won't be doing this again.
Well, she doesn't have the internet. Not a problem at all.
She doesn't. No.
Oh dear, oh dear. But they do have a habit of finding these things out.
They do. Usually sort of makes itself known in the size of your Christmas present. I don't know if you find the same.
We've all got to the stage as a family where I mean it's lovely now that my sister has a couple of little boys. Lovely to have little boys to get presents for now. Yeah. But I mean the rest of us have got loads of stuff. There's almost too much stuff.
Well, what about an ace cannon doll? Is that, could that be in the works?
Do you mean by way of sort of a figurine kind of thing, an action figure?
Yes.
Or are you thinking voodoo?
How cool would that be?
I think my family could be persuaded to, I mean, stump up for an ace cannon voodoo doll, certainly. Yes. Yeah, that might be a bit more popular.
Right, we're nearly there, kind sir. This is taking a little longer than usual, but we're almost there. We're almost there. It's been great.
Well, I mean, I'm an elusive spirit to tame. A difficult character to pin down, like trying to nail jelly to a wall. I suppose there's too much there. Either that, or you've seen straight through me, and it's gonna. Yes.
There we go. Another one to add to your collection. I hope I haven't put too many years on you, Ben. And the beauty of this is, as you might have seen when I drew my friends in France, the beauty of doing it this way is you can't hit me. So let's see if I can do that full screen just to show the punters. Where are we? Hope we get you back. There we go. How's that?
Magnificent. It's me.
Something a bit different.
Anthony Wedgwood Marriott, you have excelled yourself again. That is superb. Thank you so much.
Brilliant. And thank you, Ben. Thanks for joining me. And good luck with everything you do. And I look forward to our next chat, actually. It's been brilliant.
Yes. Well, I mean, thank you again to Mandy, Carolyn, Guy, Marlon, Silky. Anybody else who didn't ask a question, but who sort of gamely watched any or all of that, thank you all very much indeed.
It's still coming through, so we can always answer them afterwards, can't we, on the
awesome, yes.
Facebook. So brilliant. Thanks a lot, Ben. You take care, and catch you again soon. Bye for now.
Bye-bye, my friend.